Okay, hi, welcome to my first monthly book wrap-up video. So I read 11 books in the month of January. So originally on my Goodreads account, I set a goal to read 12 books in the year. I've since changed that goal to 25 because I got busy reading this month. It helped that I was sick for a good amount of the month, but I don't expect every month to be this hefty, but I don't regret. I don't regret reading this many books. So let's get started. Let's dive in. The first book that I'm going to say I finished this book in the month of January. I did not start it in January. That's true. I started it on Christmas Day, but I finished it in January. And that is My Dark Vanessa. I don't currently have this book with me because I lent it to my friend Ashlyn, who is finishing up reading it now. I loved it. It is very dark. It is about a woman who, well, first it's about a teenager who gets into a relationship with her English teacher, her English teacher. And starts off when she's 15 years old. And at the time, she doesn't really see anything wrong with it. And even as an adult, she sees it as a relationship. She doesn't see it as she was taken advantage of. It takes a lot of turns. But yes, it was very good. I enjoyed it a lot. I gave it 5 stars. The next book that I read was Ash by Melinda Lowe. And I gotta say, I was looking forward to this book so much. It was, from what I understood, it was about a retelling of Cinderella, only Cinderella was gay. But it wasn't. I mean, it was, in a way. But it was just not good. It took me so long to even get into. There was a lot about her mother's death and then her father's death, and it just was so much, and I just did not really enjoy this one, especially after coming off of reading My Dark Vanessa, because that book was so brilliantly written and just beautiful, but dark, but beautiful. And this one just fell flat for me. So this one I gave 2 stars. Sorry. The next book I read was The Times I Knew I Was Gay by Eleanor Cruz, which I read this in a day because it's just like a little graphic novel-y. And I loved this book. I loved all of the Buffy references because, oh my gosh, Buffy is the best. I loved all of the times that she was trying to figure out her sexuality and trying to be with men, but not working out, because I was like, oh my gosh, relatable. And yeah, I really liked this one. This one I gave 5 stars. The next book I read is On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Long, which I heard so much hype about this book, and I was really looking forward to reading this one also. And from what I understood, and what it is, it's about this man who writes letter to his mom, who cannot read English, doesn't understand English. And I've heard so much hype about how beautifully written this book is. And honestly, it is. It's really beautifully written. It's a really nice book, and it's got a good meaning to it, but I just was so bored. I was really bored with this one. I'm so sorry. I know people are going to be so mad at me about this because there's just so much hype about how great this book is, and it was a good book. It wasn't my cup of tea. So I gave this one 3 stars because I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. The next book I read is a self-help book called Reclaim Your Power by Lauren Krasnodemski. This is a mom at the center, or the school that I work at. So it was really fun to read kind of her story about finding her true passion in life and the self-discovery of how she got there. So yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I liked doing the little exercises that she put in at the end of each chapter. It was really nice. And I gave this one 4 stars. Okay, so you're gonna have to excuse me if I get the pronunciation of some of the authors' names wrong. The next book that I read was Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata. And this one was super cute. It's about a girl, a woman who works at a convenience store, and everyone around her is telling her that she should be doing bigger and better things with her life, but she's super happy working in the convenience store. And she tries to leave the convenience store life. She tries to be more of a normal person in the world, and she just doesn't like it, so she goes back to the convenience store at the end. It was really nice because, like, she knows what she wants. She's gonna do it. She's gonna do it no matter what. So this one I gave 4 stars. I really enjoyed it, and it was also a very quick read. So, cute little book. I liked it. The next book I read was a recommendation from my aunt, before I knew that there was like a huge hype about it, and it was The Midnight Library by Matt Haig, and I loved this one. I know that some people, I feel like you either love it or you hate it. I really, really enjoyed it. I can relate so much to it, wanting more out of your life, not really knowing what you want, what would be the best plan for you. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. Also, the idea of not wanting to, how do I word this? Not wanting to be dead, not wanting to off yourself, but also not wanting to be alive. I also really liked how the last, like, life that she was in, she had a daughter named Molly. That was really fun to me. Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I give this one 5 stars. All right, so this one has a story. The next one that I read is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. You have to excuse me for butchering names. I'm so sorry. But anyways, so this one has a story. This has a few stories, actually. This is a book about a boy who is trying to find his life purpose. It actually kind of goes a lot along with this one. Actually, the next 2 books have like pretty similar themes to this one. So he's trying to find his life purpose. He goes on this quest to find it, and in the end realizes what he really wants in life. It all started with this thought of me wanting to know what Nancy McKeon's favorite books are. And then she answered me. I asked her on Twitter and she answered me. And so I went out and bought this book at Half Price Books. And then I'm looking at it afterwards and I realized that someone had written in it, like done anecdotes in it. There were sticky notes, there were highlights, and they didn't add much to the story. Like, it looked like someone had read this book for like a 7th grade class and was told that they had to anecdote it and just didn't complete the assignment. So I was so upset. I did not want that. So I didn't want to read Nancy McKeon's favorite book having been written all over. So I returned that copy. At the same time, I bought it on Amazon because I was still reading Midnight Library. I can't read 2 books at once. It doesn't work for me. So I was like, I'll order it and then I'll finish Midnight Library. And by the time I finish Midnight Library, it'll come in the mail. Well, I finished Midnight. It was supposed to come in the mail on Tuesday. I finished Midnight Library on Sunday. And I was like, I just want to read it. So last Sunday, I ventured out and bought it at Target. I bought the last copy that they had. So in 24 hours, I bought this book 3 times. But, you know, no regrets. Oh, I gave this book 5 stars. The next book that I read was We Are Okay by Nina LaCour. I got this book because last year I read this book, Watch Over Me by Nina LaCour, which I really enjoyed. I wanted to read more Nina LaCour, and so I got We Are Okay, and I really enjoyed this one. I gave this one 4 stars. It's about a girl who leaves for college very quick, very unexpectedly. She lives in California and she's going to college in New York. And she leaves very quickly after her grandpa dies. And it starts with her already at school and her friend from home is coming to visit her. It was really, really good. It did take me a minute to get into it. Like, Watch Over Me, I fell into very quickly. I really loved the world that we were in. This one did take me a minute to get into, but in the end, I really enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. Okay. So, what inspired me to want to read Nancy McKeon's favorite book was watching a YouTuber who I'll link down below. I'm sure you've seen him if you've watched any other booktube videos. So he read all of the books Harry Styles recommends, and I am a girl who loves me some Harry Styles. And so there was a bunch of books in there. There were 2 books that I wanted to get that I kind of flip-flopped on getting one of these 2 books. Didn't end up getting either of them, and instead I got In Watermelon Sugar, which is a story about, I don't know why I landed on this book. I don't know why I landed on this book. It's a story about a utopia where everything is made out of watermelon sugar, and it ends up not being quite a utopic setting, and it's just not a good book. So I just finished In Watermelon Sugar, and I just gotta say, this was the stupidest book ever. And like, people on Goodreads and even on the back cover talk about how funny it was. I never laughed once, not once. It wasn't funny at all. There was suicides, there was mass suicide, it made no sense. There was repeating, there was so much repeating. The waitress came over and asked us what we were having for lunch. What are you boys having for lunch? You don't have to put that in there. If she came over and asked what you were having for lunch, you don't have to also put in the dialogue of what are you boys having for lunch? I don't know, I said. Fred shrugged his shoulders and took a sip of his coffee. The waitress came over and asked if we wanted a piece of pie for dessert. We've got some apple pie that really tastes good, she said. I'd like a piece of pie, Fred said. What about you? No, I said. And that's it. I didn't like it. I did not enjoy this book. I read it in a night because I just wanted it to be over with. The back says, delicate, fantastic, and very funny. I did not laugh once. Not once. I'm laughing at how people think this book would be funny. I'm sure it's enjoyable, and it's definitely one that I have kept thinking about since reading it a few days ago. But, like, I did not enjoy it. I gave it 2 stars. Next, the final book that I read this month, I just finished today, and it's called Before the Coffee Gets Cold. I gave this one 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I liked how there were 4 different stories within it that all kind of connected, obviously. And I liked the idea behind this book. So the idea of this book is that you go to this cafe and you sit in a certain chair and you can travel back in time to a certain event. But there are different rules that regard it, like you have to finish what you started before your coffee gets cold. And I really like the idea of this. I saw someone else's review on Goodreads saying that this would be a really good play. It's written very much like a play. And when I read that, after reading this book, I 100% agree. Like, I would see this play. I feel like it would be something that they would put on at the Purple Rose Theater. And I really like that. I think, like, I would pay money to go see this play. And I enjoyed the book a lot. It just wasn't my favorite. So I gave it 4 stars. I would recommend it. I liked it, but it just wasn't my favorite. So 4 stars. And that is all the books that I read in the month of January. I don't expect to read this many books in the upcoming months. I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye!